Hello guys, it is Gate of Theories here, and before we go any further, we are issuing a massive spoiler warning for Raya and the Last Dragon, the brand new Walt Disney Animation Studios film. So if you haven't seen the film yet, go watch it, then come back. But anyway guys, ever since this film first came out, I've basically been on a Disney train. And I've been re-watching lots of more modern recent Disney movies, and I've come to realise just how similar some of these films actually are, such as Frozen 2. There are so many Easter eggs to this film in Raya and the Last Dragon. It's actually making me believe that Elsa, the fifth element herself, might actually be Sisu from Raya and the Last Dragon. Sounds ridiculous? Well, let's get into the video. But before we go any further, please make sure that you've clicked that red subscribe button down below and have your notifications turned on so that you get notified every time we make a brand new Disney video. So, firstly, let's have a quick refresher into Frozen 2 in the first place, in case you haven't seen it in a while. The film is all about the 4 different spirits or elements calling Elsa to come to the Enchanted Forest and save the Northumbria people and break the spell. These 4 spirits are water, represented by the Knock, fire, represented by the Bruni, air, represented by Gale, and earth, represented by the Earth Giants. But it also turns out there's actually a 5th spirit which Elsa points out to be
a bridge between the magic of nature and us.
And it turns out that Elsa is the 5th spirit that bridges magic and humanity together, and she also technically adds Anna into it as well. Now, you might be wondering, how does this have anything to do with Raya and the Last Dragon? And the key connection is these 5 elements / spirits. Raya and the Last Dragon also uses the number 5 as a key point, with there being 5 cities of Kamandra, 5 pieces of the Dragon Gem, and finally 5 powers. In Raya and the Last Dragon, the Druun have taken over the world, and to save humanities, Sisu and her siblings must combine their powers to make the Dragon Gem. The 5 powers are Glow from Amber, Shapeshifting from Prani, Fog from Jargon, and Rain from Pengu, which they then combine together to create the Dragon Gem, and that is given and used by Sisu. So we're dealing with 5 spirits and 5 powers. There must be some sort of connection, and there definitely is. We can actually collect each power with their corresponding spirit. We have the most obvious one, Rain, which clearly links to water. We have Glow, which clearly relates to fire, and we have Fog, which could easily relate to air. Then we have shape-shifting, which I reckon could link up with Earth, as in Frozen 2 we see the Earth being able to change shape many times throughout the film. And finally, we have Elsa, who is a combination of all the elements linking up with the Dragon Gem, and Sisu, who is also a combination of all the dragon's powers. If we don't take this literally, we could say figuratively Elsa and Sisu are the same, or rather, they represent the same thing. Both are representing the joining of the elements together to form a bridge of magic and humanity together, with Frozen looking at magic and humans, and Raya and the Last Dragon looking at dragons and humans. However, this could be literal as well. Raya and the Last Dragon takes place hundreds of years into the future. It literally says at the beginning of the movie that this is a dystopia. I'm not saying the elements will have changed completely, definitely not, because there clearly is still earth, fire, air and water in the film. But the spirits could have very easily evolved over time by branching off into other powers as well. Frozen 2 literally represents the spirits with diamonds, and both ends of the diamonds are arrows leading to somewhere, like how they all point inwards when they're talking about Elsa. They could all lead outwards as well and spin off to other spirits, which is where the dragon's powers could have evolved from. Not to mention, there's also many other similarities between Frozen and this new film. Sisu is very similar to Elsa, with her face shape being the same, her eyes and her colour being light blue. However, her concept art saw her with more purple colours, which could be a hint to the fire spirit Bruni, who also had purple fire. And both films involve a shipwreck with water rising, then forming a memory. In Frozen 2, Olaf throughout the movie says water holds memory. We see Elsa use this to her advantage in the ship when she lifts the water to create the memory of what happened to her mother and father. In the same way, when Raya uses the Dragon Gem to bring back Sisu, the water also rises in the exact same way, then brings back Sisu, and I reckon this is all because, like Olaf says, water holds memory. So the memories of Elsa being the fifth spirit very easily could have been passed down through the water for thousands of years. However, since water does hold memory, there is one other being in the wider Disney universe that might even just be a slightly bit more powerful than Elsa: Te Fiti. If you thought there were lots of similarities between Frozen and this film, there's even more with Moana. Firstly, we have the fact that both films are literally about travelling on a boat through water to restore something. In Moana, it's the Heart of Te Fiti, and in Raya and the Last Dragon, it's the Dragon Gem. And both films start in the same style, with there being a narration of the history of the place so the viewers understand what's happening, and they do this in a cool art book-like fashion. My theory is, what if Sisu actually is a descendant of Te Fiti instead, and this would all be supported by the fact that water holds memory. Firstly, we have the description of Te Fiti that the film gives us. It says that Te Fiti's heart had the greatest power ever. It could create life, and she shared it around with the world. Sounds very similar to the dragons sharing their powers with the world. The film then goes into detail about Te Fiti without the heart, and it says, without her heart, Te Fiti began to crumble, giving birth to terrible darkness. This darkness will then keep on spreading, and we see visions of darkness rolling over the land and covering everyone, such as Moana's parents. This is very similar to the Druun, who are described as a mindless plague that spread like a relentless wildfire, consuming everything in their path until there is nothing left but ash and stone. There could easily be, at some point in the future, events similar to Moana taking place where the heart of Te Fiti is stolen yet again, which leads to the creation of the Druun and the destruction of everything, including magic. We currently don't know how the Druun were created, so if the dragons held the same power as the heart did, then if it was broken, it could have caused the Druun to appear. Not to mention, both the Druun and the darkness from Moana are both stopped by water. And I'm pretty sure there is an Easter egg in Moana hinting the Druun being a future villain in Lalotai, which is the realm inhabited by monsters. So, my theory is that water held the memory of the events of Moana, and that Kamandra is basically a descendant of Te Fiti, with magic going to the animals who inhabit it. In Moana, we get to see, for a brief second, a glimpse of what Te Fiti actually looks like from a bird's eye view, looking like an early version of the shape of Kamandra. With thousands of years passing, with simple processes such as erosion, this could very easily change to the dragon symbol we see Kamandra looking like in the future. And to further show this might be true, in the beginning of the film, it narrates several key elements, like the ones we listed before. The grandma describes Maui as the demigod of wind and sea, with shape-shifting powers and magic when he uses his fishhook. And she describes Takar as a demon of earth and fire. Every single element was mentioned there, and even some dragon powers, further connecting these three films all together. Not to mention that the fact that when Sisu is brought back from death, she comes back up in the shape of a spiral, which of course is the iconic pattern on the heart of Te Fiti and the Moana logo. And of course, Olaf connects them all with water has memory, which in my notes I made sure to put in big capital letters so I would remember just how important it is to this theory. But anyway guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, make sure that you smash that like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let us know down below all your thoughts on this theory and whether you think that Sisu might be a descendant of Elsa, might be a descendant of Te Fiti, or maybe just someone else. Or maybe you think she's not a descendant of anyone and she's just a brand new character. Let us know all your thoughts down below, guys. And guys, we have recently released our brand new Patreon page down in the description. Make sure you go and check it out to support the channel even more if you want to. But as always, we've been here at Gate of Theories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.